Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. This is live stream 845. If your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news and taking a look at a game. That's pretty much par for the course what we do around here. So we are not partaking in rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. So tonight, we're going to do something that I think I've only done once before. And we are going to take a live first look at something that's coming to Kickstarter. That's right. We're going to be taking a look at Shake That City from AEG. It is arriving on Kickstarter on November 29th. And as you can see, this is pretty much a finished product. So we're going to dive on in. We are going to take a peek and we will learn more about Shake That City. Of course, if you're not overly familiar with this show, I do want to point out that we tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So if you are tuning in because you want to take a peek at Shake That City, keep in mind it's going to be about 35 minutes or so before we jump on in. So if you're watching live, kick back, relax, put your feet up, take it easy, be good to yourself for a change. But if you are watching 30 minutes or more after this stream ends, there will be timestamps. You can use those if you want to jump past the tabletop gaming news. And those timestamps are located in the show notes. And very possibly, depending on the device you happen to be watching this on, might even be right there in the timeline of the video as well. Also, keep in mind when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. And lastly, it's a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight was Flaming Huron. Well. Flaming Huron, first out the gate. He got his first chat in seconds ahead of the Motor City Madman, or as we have been calling him all last month, Mr. Halloween. Yes, the Madman himself. So we've got two of our four chat moderators hanging out already. Joshua Edwards is with you in chat. Coco B is here. So is Christopher Rush. So chat is off and running. So before I jump into the tabletop gaming news, I do want to mention right before I started the stream, I had another pretty big sized spider come working its way down right in front of me again. I was like, hey, you're missing your shot at fame. But if you were watching last night, perfect for Halloween, right? That there was a good sized spider. It was probably about this big with legs. Came down, and it was funny because I was actually in a little picture in picture, as I do when I'm presenting the news, and you could still see that spider. It's like, whoa. So Coco B says, Happy Halloween hangover. So the madman also points out it is Dia de los Muertes. Isn't it Day of the Dead? Isn't that it? Is that what it is? The Day of the Dead. All right. So let's jump on into the news because coming early next year, you're going to see the release of Skytear Horde from Skytear Games. Here's what I know. Skytear Horde is a solo and cooperative card game inspired by tower defense video games. Waves of monsters will seize your castle, all the while a sea of minions will pillage all your resources. Choose a legendary hero to rally the troops, defend the walls, and defeat the outsider. Now go and fight for the Alliance. The core gameplay of Skytear Horde is the combat between waves of monsters and your hero and troops defending the castle. If you played card battlers like Hearthstone or Keyforge, you're going to find yourself right at home. If you lose, or I should say you do lose, if your castle is destroyed or if your deck runs out of cards. On the other hand, to win, it will not be enough to just survive the horde. You'll have to find the resources to leave the castle and tear down the gates that are spawning the waves of monsters. Skytear Horde is for 1 to 3 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 30 minutes, going to carry an MSRP of $49.99 when it arrives on January 12th of next year. So if you are familiar with Skytear, that is like a MOBA video game board game with some miniatures as well, if I remember correctly. And I got to say, artwork looked pretty cool. I thought, yeah, you know what? Why not share it? I got to be honest, I am not familiar with this company. I think the only game outside of Horde, which is coming next year, is Skytear that they make. So Christopher Rush says, interesting premise. And the cards do look very Hearthstone-y. They do a little bit. Not as well, okay, so I'll point out I'm not super familiar with Hearthstone, but the card artwork looks a little less soft and cartoonish. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't have kind of a cartoon vibe to it, but yes. All right, moving right along. Free League Publishing is kickstarting a skirmish level miniatures game set in the world of Mutant Year Zero. Here's the scoop on Zone Wars. Zone Wars, a fast and furious game of tabletop miniature skirmishes set in the acclaimed Mutant Year Zero universe, is now live on Kickstarter. Right, it kicked off today. Designed to be played by up to 4 players, Zone Wars is all about embracing mayhem and emergent narrative to create a fun and fast-flowing experience. The Kickstarter features 2 feature-packed boxes with miniatures, paper terrain, rules, cards, dice, and more. No assembly needed. A completely free and fully playable print and play PDF of Zone Wars is available to download via the Kickstarter page. Zone Wars is compatible with the Mutant Year Zero tabletop role-playing game. Bring your favorite role-playing character onto the battlefield or continue the Zone Wars scenarios in the RPG. There is a short Kickstarter video. It's about a minute but it'll at least give you a closer look at some of the miniatures that are available in this Kickstarter. So let's take a peek. The Kickstarter project is already fully funded, and you can reserve a copy of the core game for a $55 pledge, or score both the core and expansion as well for a $91 pledge through November 22nd, with an expected delivery in November of next year. 245 Trioxin is with us in chat and says, "That's a mean looking Daffy Duck." So here's one thing I found very interesting. So I can tell 245 Trioxin has not played the Mutant Year Zero computer game, because these are characters from the computer game. So yes, you got the duck, you got the boar, you've got the kind of like fly guy. I thought that was very interesting when I first saw this. I was like, wow, they're actually using the characters from the video game. I thought that was pretty wild. Mutant Year Zero is a cool role-playing game. It really is. And it is, okay, so I don't want to say it's rules light if you have not played it, but it's not super heavy. It's not super heavy. And they actually have a variety of different source books that tackle different things. So you've got the mutants, you've got robots, you've got the humans who have actually moved on somewhere else. They're not on the surface of the planet anymore. So very, very cool RPG. I don't see a ton of support for it though anymore. So there you go. Joshua Edwards is with us, pointing out that they enjoy Elysium, the underground bunker. Yes, that's where the humans have moved to. So we've got that. Doug Roberts is with us in chat. Good to see you, Doug. So that is Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars, which is currently on Kickstarter. And within, I don't know, about an hour, they were already past the 200% funding goal, I believe. On to some role-playing game news, because Modiphius Entertainment is kicking off its Achtung Cthulhu 2D20 Winter of Fear with pre-orders for the Forest of Fear adventure. Here's the skinny. It is December 1944, and the Allied advances after D-Day come grinding to a halt on the borders of Germany. As the first snow falls, both sides eye each other warily across the lines, content to rest and recuperate as winter sets in. But Hitler has one last great gambit planned, a massive armored offensive, which will split British and U.S. forces and hurl the Allies back so that he can recapture the deep water port of Antwerp. Concealed within the main assault, a Nazi scientist known as the Blackbird plans to unleash his legion of monstrous panzers and terrifying new shock troops to cut a swath through the Allied lines. But other forces are also astir beneath the boughs of this ancient woodland, as a sinister and evil cult seeks to revive an ancient godling and unleash madness and death. As these powerful forces contend, Section M dispatches a crack team of experienced agents to investigate. Can they thwart the Nazi occult's plans and foil the awakening of the slumbering horror? Or will they, like so many others, succumb to the forest of fear? Features 11 missions, including a cursed monastery, an ancient and foreboding undercity, and the final confrontation at the Blackbird's Nest. It includes a free PDF of the 50-page standalone adventure or prologue mission, Assault on the Führer Train, which sees resistance agents raid Hitler's personal armored express. There's an array of awesome art, maps, playing aids, GM tips, and handouts to bring the Forest of Fear to life. Forest of Fear is available right now as a pre-order for $41.23 exchange rate. I'm guessing the MSRP is probably going to be $44.99 is what I'm thinking. And that will include the PDF as well. Physical book is going to arrive in the US in early 2023. I believe across the pond, it should be out in December. So very, very nice. I am glad to see that we still see Modiphius Entertainment supporting this. I mean, they brought out the 2D20 version of Achtung Cthulhu. We see new adventures all the time. This Winter of Fear is going to be, I believe, 6 weeks in length. Every week is going to be a new adventure. I think it's probably smaller downloadable PDFs, obviously, but kind of cool. Kind of cool. And my contact with Modiphius Entertainment is going to be sending along the 2 core books for Achtung Cthulhu 2D20. I think it's a new print run that is coming out. So I was told it would probably be about 3 weeks before they shipped. And I want to say that was last week. Flaming Heron said they grabbed some Achtung Cthulhu releases during the drive-through RPG Halloween sale. Sweet, very nice. Yeah, there were a good number of horror RPGs that were pretty sweet deals. One of them was from Onyx Path Publishing, their From Beyond series, or I guess they call it's their From Beyond the series, and they had like $5 PDFs for like 20 cents. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty wild. I do have to point out that I was a little disappointed that the One Bookshelf sites were not as upfront with the trick or treat Halloween goodies, the giveaways. They kind of hid them away. And it was not a scavenger hunt. It was just if you went to the link every day at Drive-Thru RPG and at Dungeon Masters Guild, you had free downloads. But they weren't really making it apparent. So, and I got to be honest, left a little bit to be desired, I must say. Although they did have Wicked Ones from Bandit Camp absolutely free one day, and that's like a $20 PDF. And I mentioned it during the show the day that was available for free. All right, on to the next news piece. The Dungeon Society has launched a Kickstarter to bring the public a 5e Dungeons and Dragons Advent Calendar adventure. Yes, you heard that correctly. I've got the dope on Seasons of Adventure. Welcome to the magical realm of Aurora. It's kind of funny because suburb not too far from where I live is Aurora, Illinois. Whether you are a seasoned game master, player, or level 1 adventurer, the Seasons of Adventure calendar has everything you need for a heroic holiday season. Back the Seasons of Adventure to receive quality miniatures, maps, music, and more. for a completely playable 5e holiday adventure your friends and family are sure to love. The first box is a traditional advent calendar. Behind its perforated doors, you will find various minis and tokens for running your adventure. At our base funding level, you'll receive 6 original premium plastic miniatures and 19 full art cardboard minis with plastic stands. These 19 cardboard minis will upgrade to full unique premium plastic figures as stretch goals are met, obviously enough. If all stretch goals are unlocked, the final box will hold 20 small to medium premium plastic miniatures up to 50 millimeters and 5 large premium plastic miniatures up to 100 millimeters. The second box is perfect for under the tree, either as a gift for your game master or a bribe if you need a last ditch effort to avoid that total party kill you know is coming, or simply as a nice final surprise. This box contains maps, character sheets, downloadable music, dice, a campaign book, and more. In short, everything that you'll need for your quest to save Father Nikolai. The box also serves as a long-term storage for all the cards, tokens, booklets, dice, maps, and other adventure calendar treasures. Each adventure calendar set also includes a PDF of the campaign guide and access to digital assets for use with virtual tabletops. They do not include STL files, just so you know. As the goals are met, you'll see an upgrade to the box to fit all of your treasures. On top of that, you'll see an upgrade to some basic components to make room for more monsters. The upgraded box will include additional large full art boss mechanics and or trap cards, premium cardboard mats for ability item usage with the unlocked heroes, commemorative art book, which contains art assets used in the creation of the cinematic, and a linen cloth bag for storing tokens, dice, and other treasures. There is a Kickstarter video from the Dungeon Society. It runs a couple of minutes or so, but you'll get a far better idea of this Kickstarter. So let's take a peek.
In the magical realm of Auroria, among the snowy peaks overlooking the harsh wilds below, lies the crystal city of Tannenholm. A beacon of light and safety to those with the strength to reach its gates. A place where goodwill and compassion are gifts given by kind-hearted citizens, where selflessness and charity flow freely as the chilled breeze. A winter paradise, watched over by a celestial being of cheer and radiance who spreads joy to all he visits. Father Nikolai, whose magic has brought balance and peace to this corner of the realm and many others. As dark clouds begin to sweep over the land, the beasts of the wild grow bold. Foul horrors lurk close to the city gates. And Father Nikolai has not yet returned. Now you and Tannenholm's bravest must heed the call and bring him home. Prepare for the dangerous road ahead. Gather your companions and journey into this season of adventure.
All right, so that was weird because the video seemed to be completely cut off there. So, like, wait a second. Like, what the hell's going on with that? Very, very unusual. Anyway, this project for Seasons of Adventure has just launched. So there's a ways to go. But you can reserve a copy of Seasons of Adventure for a $100 pledge through November 30th. Expected delivery is November of next year. So Fleming Heron says, yeah, that last frame was a little off center. Yeah, I was like, like, what happened there? Tell you what, in chat, if you want to see the video again, you could let me know, and I will see if I can adjust that video so you get a better view. Or if you've already kind of gotten an idea of what you're looking at, because it was more like a story than anything else, then I think we should be fine. But you are getting a peek at the variety of items that are going to be included with this. So I have to be honest, and I see Joshua had pointed this out, said they're thinking for a Christmas game this year. Oh, I'm sorry, before that. Sorry. Joshua said this seems like a Kickstarter that could go absolutely sideways if not careful. Lots and lots of minis. Well, there's only 6 that they're guaranteeing that they're going to produce. The others are part of stretch goals. And if off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, I think just the funding goal is 125,000 for this. So they would have to get past that by probably a wide margin before you'd see all 26 minis that they're talking about there. So yes, I agree with Joshua. I did want to share this news piece because it looks interesting. I think it's unique. You go take a look at the website. It looks like they've got a handle on things. Because you know how sometimes you'll see Kickstarters from companies that don't even have a damn website address. Like, really? You expect me to back you and you couldn't even take $20 and get yourself, a domain name and $3 a month GoDaddy hosting? Come on. So Flaming Aaron says, yeah, that video wasn't really selling the game. So you're getting a peek at some of the stuff here. But I thought, you know what? This does look interesting. It is unique. And if they pull it off, it could be very, very cool. All right, on to the final news piece. There is a bundle of holding that's currently running, and it features the Cthulhu Confidential role-playing game from Pelgrane Press. I've got the deets on the deal. Investigator. Once again, you fight alone against monstrous adversaries in this revived April 2020 Cthulhu Confidential bundle featuring the Gumshoe 1-2-1 tabletop role-playing games from Pelgrane Press. Guided by a game moderator, GM. Can't just call it a game master. Come on. You become the sole protagonist in suspenseful investigative adventures, noir nightmares right out of the Cthulhu mythos, and super spy espionage. Can you solve the case with your hide and sanity intact? This revival once again gives you most of the 1-to-1 line for a bargain price. For just $12.95, you'll get all 4 titles in this offer's starter collection, which has a retail value of $46, as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete standalone 328-page Cthulhu Confidential Rulebook and 3 investigations: The Howling Fog, The House Upon the Hill, and One for the Money. And if you pay more than the threshold price of $25.16, the current threshold price, you'll level up and also get this revival's entire bonus collection with 5 more titles worth an additional $53, including the complete standalone Knights Black Agents Solo Ops Rulebook by Gareth Ryder Hanrahan, based on Kenneth Haight's Knights Black Agents, the Solo Ops Adventure, The Best of Intentions, and 3 more Cthulhu Investigations, High Voltage Kill, Ex Historia, and The Shadow over Washington. These savings run through November 23rd, and 10% of your payment after payment gateway fees will be donated to Cochrane Reports. So there you have it. This, funny thing is, this popped up right before Halloween. I think it launched on Sunday or maybe even yesterday. And because just the other day I was taking a peek at Bundle of Holding or Monday's news. I thought, well, let's go see if there's a bundle. And there wasn't. So this is pretty brand spanking new. And I thought Cthulhu Confidential was pretty good. I have not checked out any of the other items that are part of this bundle of holding, but I can tell you that the core book for Cthulhu Confidential, good stuff. It's got 3 different eras as well that are kind of tackled in it that I thought was very interesting. And it's really aimed at your protagonists not necessarily being like superheroes or pulp Cthulhu types or anything like that. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Do want to point out, even though I was not talking about Drive-Thru RPG, please keep in mind, Gaming Gang Dispatch is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So let's say you decide you're going to go swing over and pick up some stuff. There you go. Go cry about the things that you didn't get to pick up during the Halloween sale. If you are going to do that, by all means, click on the banner ad over at thegaminggang.com. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, you get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Damn, it's super dry down here again tonight. Yikes. Anyway, also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you feel that thegaminggang.com is a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always go over to paypal.me/thegaminggang, making a small donation. And a big thank you to everybody out there who uses the banner ads, our links to the One Bookshelf sites, and who visit paypal.me. Thank you kindly, everybody. Should also mention there are only 2 days left in the 50/50 game sale to benefit Extra Life. There are still about 180 role-playing games, board games, miniatures games, what have you, at pretty rock-bottom prices. So what I may end up doing is after the second, I may leave that page up so that people can still purchase the used games, but I will not be donating half of the proceeds to Extra Life. So keep that in mind if you want to help sick kids. All righty then. So tonight, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Shake That City from AEG, which is coming to Kickstarter later this month. But before we do, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
coffee do you sell?
Wilkins coffee.
Don't you have any other kind?
Sure, we have it, but we don't sell it.
The night was full of familiar sights and sounds. The lighting of the corner gaslight, the gentle clip-clop of a horse-drawn carriage, and the friendliest sound of all, the music and laughter at the neighborhood beer garden. It was a time when just about everyone loved a good glass of beer, and there were many great beers in those days, beers full of flavor, beers like Pabst Blue Ribbon. In fact, it was back in those wonderful days that Pabst won the Blue Ribbon as the nation's finest beer at the Chicago World's Fair. Pabst went down easy, tasted just great. It was hearty and full of flavor. And now you can enjoy that old-time flavor that likes you best today, because we brought back the original Pabst. Original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, brewed by the first of the great Milwaukee brewers.
Wilkins lives! I have to chuckle because that first Coca-Cola ad, what was with the blonde? Sort of like, okay, so we're gonna do a screen test here, baby. Because I mean, we're talking, it looked late 60s, early 70s. Like, okay, I want you to go through a huge range of emotions. Every once in a while, I want you to look over. I want to look over that way. Joshua Edwards asks, as a non-American, is Pabst Blue Ribbon good, bad, or terrible? It's all right. It's okay. Strangely enough, it became this sort of oddball premium beer, and nothing has changed. It was like all the hipsters were like, yeah, I'm drinking PBRs. Yeah. Though I will admit that my best friend Elliot Miller and I would drink quite a lot of Pabst Blue Ribbon when we would go to Origins, because the restaurant that we would go to, that's no longer there, which we found out the hard way a few years ago. They had PBRs and they were like on tap. They were $2. So we, slammed a lot of those. Yes. So there is that. All right. So it's time for us to unbox and take a first look at Shake That City, which is from AEG. It's designed by Mads Flo and Carrie Torndal Yard. I know I have butchered those names horribly. I apologize. Artwork is provided by Olga Kim. Hey, I can say that name. That's good. This puzzly family board game is for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. Plays in around 30 minutes, and it's going to launch on Kickstarter November 29th. Batman says they're a beer snob. They're fairly picky where beer is concerned. Yes, so he would probably give a big thumbs down to PBR. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Shake That City. So the fine folks over at AEG were kind enough to provide me with this preview copy. It is in shrink wrap. This looks like this is good to go. So this Kickstarter that's going to launch on the 29th, I'm getting the feeling it is more for order fulfillment than anything else. Let's take a look at the back here. Welcome, city planners. It's up to you to design the best city block using patterns from the exciting Cube Shaker. There it is, the exciting Cube Shaker. You'll place a mix of building tiles to help grow the thriving city. Best design wins the game. Are you ready to shake that city? MC says PBR is not premium. Oh, I didn't say it was. I just said it was, for some strange reason, became this premium beer. Like, okay. Sarah D is with us in chat. Says, don't ask her about beer. She used to drink Steel Reserve. Hey, we've all done our natural lights, Milwaukee's best, and stuff like that. All right, let's get the shrink wrap off here. All righty. I should point out I've got a new lens. All right, come on, you. I have a new lens on the way. So I'm hoping it'll be a little bit sharper. God. Jeez. What's with this box? I'm hoping it'll be a little sharper when we're looking at books. So, don't know. I mean, I don't have the most expensive lenses in the world, but not too shabby. Right, so we got a rule book. So let's take a peek at the rule book. One thing I have to say about AEG is they've got some really cool puzzle-ish games. So this almost reminds me a little bit of Tiny Towns, just kind of the concept where you have to lay things in certain spots based on, like this looks like this is the cube shaker, whereas Tiny Towns, it's somebody calls out a component, a resource. We've got Calico. There's a lot of cool kind of not necessarily abstract, but kind of puzzle-y games. So here we've got our components. We have to put our cube shaker together. Boo! I was hoping it was already together. So game setup. We have 32 wooden cubes that go into the cube shaker. And it goes into the center of the table. Oh, wow. Okay. See, now I was thinking you just had a certain 9 cubes that you would put in every turn or every round into the shaker and shake them up. But I guess that is not the case. So we have player boards, which we'll take a look at in a second. And then we also have this outer kind of lane, which will determine, I believe, your victory points. Because you're going to have certain building tiles that you're going to be putting down, and you're going to want to try to put them down so that you're going to get the points from this lane that runs around the outer edge of the player board, which of course we'll get a closer look at too. So also please keep in mind, this is not a review. I just opened up the box. So please don't comment, oh, what a lousy review. Hey, because I gotta be honest, I had somebody one time with an unboxing video, and they were like, oh, maybe you should maybe you should play the game before you review it. I was like, hey, maybe you should pay attention that this isn't a review video. Come on. Russell Higgins is with us in chat. Brian Foley is with us asking, what is the new lens? It is, so in case you don't know, I shoot on Panasonics, on Lumix. The overhead camera is relatively new. It's not more than 6 months old. It is a GH5 Mark II. And the lens that I picked up is a 25 millimeter, which is the equivalent of a 50 millimeter, because these are micro four thirds cameras, so they don't have big sensors. That's why their price is a bit lower than full frame. So it's a 25 millimeter, but it's autofocus, and it is a Panasonic Lumix lens. So we've got building tiles. So we've got gray cubes are roads, green cubes are parks, Black cubes are factories. Blue cubes are shops. Red cubes are homes. So in the round, we shake the cubes, choose building colors, place building tiles, and we end the round. If I remember correctly, I think this runs 12 rounds. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, sorry, 15 rounds. So something changes in the final 3 rounds. So during these last 3 rounds, all building colors in the pattern of cubes are available to all players. Whichever building color the active player chooses is not blocked to everyone else. Okay, so I guess we have kind of a caller for the active player who chooses a color cube that for the first 12 rounds, they can only lay down building tiles from, I guess. So game ends on the 15th round after all players have placed their building tiles. Players may now add up their scores. So we've got scoring details here on the back. So roads need to be connected out of town to a concrete edge of the player board. Yeah, because I guess the road needs to go someplace and the road needs to bring people in. Parks help beautify neighborhoods when near homes. On the landlocked side, they also score next to factories. On the beachfront side, they score next to the beach instead. Shops do better in centralized locations, but must rely on connected roads to bring in commerce from out of town. Factories do better next to other factories, need to be next to roads for their operations. Homes do well on their own, but don't score extra for crowded neighborhoods. All home values go down if they are orthogonically adjacent to factories. Oh, and then there's a family variant. So it says this variant is great for teaching spatial awareness of shapes. Ignore all scoring rules for individual tiles and score only the bonus point tiles around the sides of the player boards. So we have another variant here, construction variant. And then we have our scoring, which just goes into more detail. So roads are a point. Of course, once again, they have to run to the edge of the board. Parks score up to 2 points each. Factories up to 2 points each. Shops score only if connected to the edge of the board, either by being adjacent to the edge or adjacent to roads. And it depends on what zone of the board they are in. So I guess the closer into like the center of town, the better. We have homes score 2 points for each single home or each group of adjacent homes. So that's landlocked, and then we have beachfront. That's pretty wild. Sweet. Interesting. This does look like another interesting sort of puzzle game. And a reason why I say it's a puzzle game is because, like, if you've played Calico or if you've played Tiny Towns, you kind of have to figure things out on the fly as far as how things are going to fit together. Because if you don't do that, then you end up like kind of blocking yourself off. It's pretty interesting. So Joshua says, family variant, younger children, excellent. Said they're always looking for games that are good for an 8 and 7-year-old. For a second, I thought it said 87-year-old. In chat. Like, oh, well. Right, so these are the player boards. So I'm going to take a guess that we've got, this is just kind of standard, right? So there's no landlocked or beach side. And then on this side, we have the beachfront and landlocked sides. Just a stab in the dark. So we've got 4 of these. We've got that. So we've got our tiles. So as we can see here, we've got home tiles. These are part of the edges, I believe, or the lane I was calling it, that runs around the side of the board. because I think everybody's is going to be unique. It's not just everybody's is the same. So these are the houses, and these are dual sided. Not sure what the numbers might represent. Might represent number of players, maybe. Got more. So this actually has the houses and parks. And then we have the edge with parks. So it has a number 3 on it. Maybe maybe that is the victory points. I don't know. All right, so that looks like those are factories to me, as well as more parks and these edge tiles. Look, we got a few of these in here. And of course, we've got our shaker. We've got quite a few of those. All right, so looks like these are shops here. And then we have more factories. I don't know. Are these like wild? Oh, we got another one of these curves. I would say pretty good thickness on the cardstock here. So these should hold up pretty well. I can tell that these punch boards are cut really nicely too, because these tiles are looking to pop right on out. So here we have more shops. And then we have, I don't know. Are these, what are these? What is black? Let's take a look at the rules again. Hold on there a minute, Bob Louie. Those are factories. Oh, the gray is roads. That's what it was. I just wasn't looking close enough. So here are the factories. And then I can tell that this is a round tracker here. I don't know what these tiles are. Are they showing you how to score, or no? Because, well, yeah, they are identical. That's kind of weird. Don't know. So as you can see, like I said, these are cut really nicely. They're popping right out. Yeah, it looks like both sides are identical too. Okay. Then we've got our shaker. And I noticed that the which you would normally just throw out, they're actually tiles too. So that's kind of cool. That's popping out. Looks like we've got some more pieces to it, to our shaker. So, of course, when I do my review, you'll get to see it all put together. Right. So we've got a variety of cubes. I remember I didn't say 32. I'll take a guess that this is our round tracker here. Got a bunch of baggies. We've got rubber bands. And we have a scoring pad for us as well. Sweet. This looks kind of interesting. I should also, once again, mention It is for 1 to 4 players, so you can play this solitaire. That is another aspect of a lot of these sort of games that AEG produces, is that they have a solitaire element to them as well. One thing that I think is kind of cool about, say, like tiny towns, is you could play like with 1,000 people. So there is really no player limit to a game like Tiny Towns. This, obviously enough, there would be some limits because of essentially you've only got so many cubes that you're going to be utilizing. Get all this stuff back inside. So we got the rules. We've got the 4-player boards, dual-sided. We've got quite a few punch boards with the various different tiles as well. We've got the shaker, as well as the cubes and a score pad. I got to be honest, I do not know what the pledge level is going to be for Shake That City. I would take a stab that we're probably looking at somewhere between $39.99 and maybe $49.99. So that is just a guess. I have no idea, no clue whatsoever. But as you can see, this is complete. This is a finished product. So I normally do not do Kickstarter previews. I never call it a review because it's never the finished product. But in this case, this looks like this is pretty much what the game is going to be, unless they possibly offer some expansion or something like that. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So stay tuned. I will have a review of this prior to that Kickstarter launch on November 29th. Joshua Edwards says, I think I might grab this. Oh, there you have it. That's why AEG sent it along to me so I could share it with them. Coco B points out to Joshua, don't forget to let him know the gaming gang sent you. Yes. Of course, stay tuned. Of course, I'll have a news piece when this launches, and I'll have my review of it prior to that as well. Russell Higgins says, but all I heard after Cubes was blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's how most of you guys listen to this show. Kathy Evans points out it looks like a fun game. So as Coco B pointed out, any time that you happen to go and purchase something that you heard about either from the gaminggang.com website or from watching any of the videos, maybe a review, what have you, let that publisher know. Because to be very honest, a lot of publishers, honestly, they don't know, where some of their, a vast majority of their customers come from. They have no clue. So, and of course, they know that people are checking stuff out and making buying decisions based on what they see on the Gaming Gang website or on any of our videos. Then they like us more. So there is that. All righty. So tomorrow we are going to dive on in and take a first look at Wretched Space from the Red Room. So they sent me a trio of core books. So I've got Wretched Bastards, Wretched Space, as well as Wretched Epoch. So we're taking a look at Wretched Space first because it's the newest. So this is pretty recent that this came out. And it is a print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG. So we'll get to take a look at the quality of that as well. So that is on tomorrow's show. Next week, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm still awaiting the Kingmaker releases, because according to my contact over at Paizo Inc., he was going to have them send out Kingmaker, and there's like a bunch of products that are with it. So that's supposed to be on its way. And if it arrives, I was planning on actually devoting the week to it, because there's supposed to be like 13 items. There's like a player's guide and pawns and flip mats and things like that. So Flaming Heron says they always wonder how good the quality of print-on-demand products are from Drive-Thru RPG. Seems to be sort of miss or hit. Lulu is a little bit like that as well. So I have been told by people who've ordered Knights and Magic, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's a miniature system from 1980 from Heritage that I actually own the rights to. So I sell the PDF as well as through Lulu if you want the physical books. I have had people tell me that Lulu's pretty decent, at least with that. But then I've had print on demand from Lulu like this that was like all these errors. I was like, what the hell? All these formatting errors. So you'd have all these symbols and things like that all throughout the words and things. It's like, what the is this? So kind of hit or miss, right? All righty. Also, should point out, I've got some reviews on the way too. We'll get those up. I was gonna do my review for Pathfinder Crown of the Cobalt King today, but I thought, you know what? I've been doing spooktacular episodes every day. I was cranking out a lot of reviews. I didn't get to do a review every day. Sorry for October. I didn't. It was supposed to be a new review every day over at thegaminggang.com. They didn't all have to be me. So, but I fell like 5 short. Anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break today. I'm just going to do what I need to do for tonight's show. And I'll do like reviews and other stuff tomorrow. So, anyway, that's it for this time out. As Flaming Heron says, yeah, or maybe hit or miss instead of miss or hit. I knew what you meant. Anyway, thank you very much for taking time out to watch tonight. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Will not only let you know when the Gaming Gang Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of, you just saw it, Pathfinder, Crown of the Cobalt King from Paizo Inc. Alrighty. So if you were watching live, thank you very much. If you happen to be taking part in chat while you watch live, big tip of the cap and extra experience points for you, because you not only keep me company, you keep each other company too, as I'm rambling on. But I also know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very kindly for taking time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. All right. And of course, don't forget, we're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel. Be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to look at Wretched Space. And here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming. Your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.